Ladies and gentlemen, to the participating researchers and guests, to our highly esteemed reactors, good morning. Praised be Jesus and Mary. I am Glenn Babaran from the Teacher Education Program of Christ the King College, Ingog City. Before anything else, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our research advisor, Mr. Jason S. Digamon, for his professional guidance generously given until the completion of this paper. My study is entitled The Effects of Family Income on the BSEd English Students' Distance Learning Engagement during the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 is a deadly disease that has affected the lives of people around the world. In fact, education has been greatly affected. Educational institutions were forced to close. More than 1.2 billion students shifted to distance learning. Amidst the threat of COVID-19, majority of the countries have accepted the idea of online education. Many educational institutions in our country have adopted the concept of distance learning, one of which is our very own Christ the King College. Many apprehensions came about, such as how students from low-income groups can cope with the demand for acquiring gadgets to be able to get into online education platforms. Is there a link between families' income and students' learning engagement in distance learning? This study aimed at finding out if socioeconomic status has a bearing on students' learning engagement during the COVID-19 pandemic. This research is anchored on the three theories. First, developmental theory of student involvement by Aston in 1984. Second, theory of student engagement by Koo in 2003. Third, socioeconomic status theory by Talcott Parsons in 1970. And the developmental theory on student engagement, Aston defines engagement as the amount of physical and psychological energy that students contribute to academic experience. He mentioned 5 postulates for his theory. The first is that engagement signifies an investment of physical and cognitive energy in various objects. Second, involvement occurs on a continuum, regardless of the situation. Third, engagement and involvement are qualitative and quantitative. Fourth, the quality and quantity of student involvement is directly dependent on the amount of student learning and personal growth involved with any educational program. Finally, the ability of any educational strategy or practice to encourage student involvement is directly proportional to its efficacy. Likewise, in the theory of students' engagement, Koo defines student engagement as the time and energy that students devote to educational activities, both inside and outside of the classroom, and the policies and practices that institutions employ to encourage students to participate in these activities. Lastly, the theoretical foundations of socioeconomic status. Parsons has 3 postulates of his theory. First, Parsons viewed status as a position in the social system, a component of social distinction, like different occupation, different family positions. Second, he recognized stratification among family units. Families were thought to be solid individuals with similar interests. Finally, he established the functional theory of stratification. The primary assumption of this idea was that society to be motivated to pursue trainings required for the most important roles and to perform them as well as possible while in those positions. For methodology, the descriptive research design was used. The census or total enumeration method was employed as the sampling procedure. 25 BSED English students participated in the study. A questionnaire was used using a 4-point Likert scale. The data was collected via Google Forms, and the descriptive statistics was used for the data interpretation. Table 1 shows the parents' monthly income bracket with the corresponding frequency and percentage distribution. The data shows that majority of the student respondents have a family income of around 5,001 to 10,000 as the highest, and followed by 10,001 to 20,000 as the second highest. Table 2 shows that majority of the student respondents strongly agree that they are affectively, cognitively, and behaviorally engaged in learning English during the COVID-19 pandemic. Table 3 shows that majority of the student respondents are highly engaged in learning English. Through distance learning, and students' engagement is not affected by their family income. In conclusion, students' engagement is not affected by their family income in learning English. This claim is supported by the study of Lariu in 2011 that students' engagement and cognitive development do not have a consistent and reliable association with family income. In fact, majority of them are highly engaged in the affective, cognitive, and behavioral domains. Furthermore, this implies that affective, cognitive, and behavioral domains are proportional to each other when the affective and cognitive domains are described as highly engaged. The behavioral engagement also belongs to the description of highly engaged. This finding is supported in the first postulates of Aston and his developmental theory that student engagement signifies an investment of physical and cognitive energy in various objects. This simply means that when students are highly engaged in the affective and cognitive domains, then it follows that they are also highly engaged in the academic and multitask activities inside or outside of the classroom. It is recommended that further researches with other demographics and learning variables may be explored. These are my references, and now I am ready to defend my research study, and thank you.